I think Jack wins it cleanly. I think he'll jab, switching stances. He'll have a bit more fluidity due to the fact that Islam's not going to be changing stances so regularly. So I think Jack can do it on the feet, but the question mark is, can he stop the takedown consistently over the fight?
Don't tap, don't tap, don't tap.
Don't tap. T'as parié sur lui, toi, ou pas?
I'm going to sleep. Keep sleep.
Makhachev is so good. He's so good that he head kicked Alexander Volkanovski in the rematch. He submits everybody. He submitted Dustin Poirier. He's a
Islam Makhachev, and now I'm leaning towards JDM.
But in Islam's credentials in the slightest, he is pound for pound number one. He's the GOAT. He's the best guy to have ever done it for me. For me now, it's the first time watching footage of Islam and not just enjoying watching him fight, and actually looking at where can we take advantage of some of the weaknesses that we perceive. I've seen a lot that I like, that I can work with, having now actually taken an analytical approach to watching Islam rather than just enjoying him, watching him waste people. He's an amazing fighter.
UFC 322 is fast approaching, and former lightweight champion Islam is set to debut at welterweight against Della. Islam looks in top form in his latest video showing intense grappling practice, while JDM is also ready to defend his belt. The MMA pros are also excited for this fight, as Islam is currently the only hope for Dagestan to win the belt, as there are no other Dagestani champions left in the UFC right now. Ian Gary shared his thoughts on the Islam vs JDM matchup, and thinks Della will control the striking, but the real challenge lies in defending takedowns at UFC 322. He notes that Islam is world-class in grappling, and has trained it for it his whole life. Gary believes Jack can win undefeated, but the key question is whether he can consistently stop takedowns over 5 rounds. The fight for me really is when Islam grabs a hold of Jack. How good is Jack improved? Because Islam is world-class at that and has been for probably his entire life because of the way he trains and where he has come from. So can Jack stop that consistently like he did against Bal? Because he did a phenomenal job against Bal of stopping that. But can he do that against someone who's just cleaner, more technical on the feet? I think Jack wins it cleanly. I think he'll jab switching stances. He'll have a bit more fluidity due to the fact that Islam's not going to be changing stances so regularly. So I think Jack can do it on the feet. But the question mark is, can he stop the takedown consistently over 5 rounds? And Gary admitted that predicting the result of Maddalena versus Islam match is tough. He praised Islam as one of the most well-rounded fighters in MMA, but noted that moving up to welterweight adds a new challenge. Gary pointed out the size difference between Jack and Islam's previous opponent Alexander Volkanovski, who still gave him trouble. He added that Jack's sharp boxing and solid takedown defense could play a decisive role. Who do you think wins, Jack or Islam? It's such a tough one to talk about. Islam is phenomenal. He's good everywhere. Size matters. When you're talking about an extra 15 pounds, when you look at the size of Volkanov versus Maddalena, there's a big size discrepancy. And Vog gave him a good fight, and then Dustin Poirier, it wasn't absolutely completely dominant by Islam. It was a tough fight, is going to play a huge part even on the ground. I feel like Jack could get it done with just some clean boxing and good take on defense. But I can absolutely see coming in and doing what Islam does and gone out there, and just looks like the phenomenal mixed martial artist he is. Michael Bisping expresses surprise that Makhachevvs is favored over Della. He points out that Jack is on an 18-fight win streak, recently beating Bal Mohammed while defending all takedowns, and has previously handled top grapplers. Bisping warns that standing with Jack would be risky for Islam, as Jack's boxing and footwork give him a major advantage. He adds that a win for Jack wouldn't be surprising. It's an interesting fight because the crazy thing is that Islam Makhachev is quite a sizable favorite according to DraftKings, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure I saw that online earlier this morning. And I think that's a little bit disrespectful to Della. The man's on an 18-fight winning streak. He just beat Bal Mohammed. He defended all the takedowns there. He's beaten grapplers before in the past. Yes, Islam Makhachev is incredible, and he'd be another contender for pound #1, greatest of all time, whatever you want to call it. But Bal Mohammed was a perfect warm-up fight for Islam Makhachev. And with the boxing of Jack, if Islam was to stand with him, that'd be a bad idea. With Jack's boxing and the footwork that is associated with boxing, that's going to help him. That's going to be very advantageous. He knows how to defend a takedown. He knows what he's doing off his back. He can get back to his feet. So yeah, I understand why Islam is a slight favorite, because he's tried and tested and the greatest lightweight fighter that the sport's ever seen. But don't be surprised if Maddalena gets it done. Michael Bisping thinks Della could pull off a shocker at UFC 322. He highlights Jack's size, proven takedown defense, and some of the cleanest boxing in the UFC. Bisping adds that Jack's performing at an elite level and believes there's a genuine chance he walks away as champion. So Islam Makhachev versus Maddalena that has been announced. But I'll tell you what, Della is bigger. He showed that he can stop takedowns on the feet. there's absolutely no question. Jack D. Maddalena is on another level. He's probably got the best, cleanest boxing in the UFC. It wouldn't surprise me if we see an upset here and Jack Dean is still the champion at the end of the day. Daniel Darish expects Jack Della Maddalena to beat Islamakov at UFC 322. He notes Jack's size, speed, and youth as important advantages and says his performance against Bal Mohammed showed a more complete fighter. Darish believes that after seeing that fight, Jack has a better chance of overcoming Islam than previously thought. I'm wondering how that goes. Earlier on I was leaning towards Islam Makhachev and now I'm leaning towards JDM, but I don't know why. Why are you leaning towards JDM now? Tell me what is it? I don't have a logical reason for it, but I just been thinking more about it. Bro, he is bigger, he's fast. It's not like he's a slow fighter, he's young. There's not a whole lot like in his game. He showed a whole different game. I've seen his old fights. If I watch just his old fights and not watch his most recent fight with Bal, I would definitely be like, okay, Makhachevvs has this fight. But after watching him fight with Bal, I think his chances of winning are a lot better. However, Colby Sington favors Islam Makhachev over Jack Detina. He points out that although Islam is smaller, moving up from lightweight, his complete skill set makes him a serious threat. Sington believes that if Islam secures takedowns and keeps control, he has a clear path to win, and despite the size difference he sees Makhachevvs as the likely victor. Islam versus JDM, what do you make of that? Islam moving up to now welterweight. Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'm excited to see how it goes. Islam, is a lightweight. He's going to be a little smaller in the fight, but he's a well-rounded fighter. So, if he's able to take down JDM and control him, he could definitely get the job done. But it's going to be interesting to see how the size advantage plays a difference in the fight. Who do you favor? I seen the odds were pretty big. They favored Makhachevv like 3-1, so I guess I got to go with the odds if they're going 3-1. But just cause JDM doesn't have good takedown defense, but you never know. It's a fight and JDM has some good hands, so it should be an exciting fight for the fans. Mobdwish Wheelie also shows confidence that Islam Makhachev can claim a second belt by defeating Jack Damatna. He notes JDM's striking skills, but emphasizes Makhachev's intelligence and adaptability. Mab expects Islam to learn from Bal Mohammed's fight and tweak his approach, believing that despite the challenge, Makhachev will come out on top and become a two-division champion. You mentioned Islam, he's moving up to 170. Do you think that he gets the job done and wins that title, or do you think JDM retains? It's going to be hard for him, but it's possible to Islam wins the second belt. JDM is great fighter, great striker, but Islam is tricky. He has a good wrestling and he's solo. He don't get heat, but he takes people down and he molds people down. So and also we all see the JDM Bal and Mohammed fight, and then I'm sure Islam will take lots of lessons from this fight and maybe Islam will make some adjustment. It's possible. It's going to be hard, but Islam can win the second belt. Carlos Prates and Henry Cejudo also weigh in on Islam versus Jack Detina. Pra admits he once expected Jack to struggle after his injury and time off, thinking he'd only managed narrow wins, but he's impressed by how much Jack has improved. Judo adds that Islam brings a completely different challenge with elite top control and relentless pressure that Jack hasn't faced before. I was thinking Jack de Maddalena would lose. He got injury and I was like almost 2 years without fight, and then he come to different level bro. He was like going to be a bored fight by point and things like that, but bro what he did.